Luckily, I was able to get away for a few times before I sold my Tesla. So this was one of the experiences that I had going to this very creepy, clown-infested house. I've never seen so many creepy clowns in one house. And at the time, we had a lot of crazy weather going on, so that was another situation that we had to deal with.
I don't even know how I ended up here. I think the universe is what brought me here today. I think the universe has brought me here. So I have a friend that stands right there watching me, although there was somebody who was pretty much creeping me out because they were leaving shoes on my front porch. And then, of course, this morning, there was a note. And so that confirmed that it was that crazy woman. She's a stalker. Yeah, I have a stalker woman. Of all, what are the odds? So that's what I'm dealing with. And say I thought I would go into Florida and get away for a couple of days. My plans were to go to Davenport. You know, had a friend out there who's not too far away in Kissimmee, and I just wanted to go meet him. You know, he makes content, he streams content, and I've collaborated with him a few times and sent him some video clips for his content. I just wanted to go, you know, kind of meet up and maybe collaborate on something, but figured I'd knock two birds with one stone. No pun intended. But well, things happen, and then I end up here, and so I'm just sitting in here, you know, chilling for now, charging my Tessie, then got to continue my trip into Davenport. It's pretty much how that is, and then we'll see what happens. And if I do end up spending overnight, I just got to figure out where I'm going to be, because I don't want to impose on my friend in Davenport, although he said, hey, stay over, and then I could see my other friend in Kissimmee. So, you know, that's how it is. Yeah, you make friends in Florida, because, you know, when I would go to Davenport a lot, I made some friends. So I was like, oh, let's see, I'm knocking a couple birds with one stone, maybe three birds, you know. But I swear this guy's just staring right at me, staring at me. But this is it. This is it. Let me see if I can read comments. Luckily, there's a pair of glasses. Luckily, I got some kind of glasses to read. I'm like, okay, now I can see. I wasn't able to see before. I like clowns, and what an awesome video. Thank you. Tina G, can't stay long, but hi everyone. Hey Tina. Olivia, how you doing, Olivia? Sinners Subliminals, how you guys doing? Joshua, hey, what's happening? So yeah, here I am, just kind of waiting things out. And we do have a storm like brewing up out there somewhere in the ocean, you know, and by next week, middle of next week, it's supposed to, like, you know, get closer. So who knows what's going to happen. It's a situation, and I hope that it doesn't become anything. Although I do have solar power, I do have backup power, so I do have, like, if power goes out, I have power. I wouldn't even know that it went out. But I just don't want that to happen, because I don't want anybody who doesn't have backup power to be in the dark. You know, it's just a scary thing. But storms brewing up, heat wave is intense. And an update on that whole situation with the shoes that somebody left on my front porch. I found out today, it's confirmed that it is that woman, because she left a note. And I don't even want to read it, because I'm not that person that just reads notes from other people, even if they're stalking me. I just feel like I'm just not putting it out there. But now I know why. I know exactly why. And that's just something I just have to, you know, accept. You know, I guess I kind of led her on, but I didn't intentionally do that. You know, because I make friends, and I'm a very caring person, and sometimes people take my generosity and genuine character the wrong way, and they might think that I'm like trying to be more than a friend, but that's not me. I try to be friends, but in the beginning, You know, I was like, oh, maybe I could be a friend with this woman. Then she just became too obsessive, and I don't think she understood me, and she just had this like infatuation with me, I guess, and it just got worse. So she kind of made that choice to make it very complicated. And if I would have just ignored her from the beginning and not even have gave her attention or just been, you know, because I try to be the better person. And in the beginning, I thought, you know, oh, maybe I got a new friend at the pool or whatever. But this was going back now. You guys, if you watched a couple years back, you'll know what I mean. So I thought for sure, you know, she was going to be a normal person, but she ended up being far from normal. So I kind of blame myself for even entertaining that in the beginning. I should have just like had my wall up the whole time, because, you know, I have trust issues. Maybe I should have, you know, acted on those trust issues and then not had let her into my life to begin with. But no, you know, I try to be nice to everybody. If she's stalking you, you can't take a restraint. Yeah, you know, the thing is, you know, people do things that are not quite legal, you know, and they don't care if you got a restraining order, because they find ways to dodge the radar. You know, they try to find ways to lay low where, you know, they can do whatever they want until they get caught, you know. So they're harassing somebody like me, they're, you know, they're trying to harass me or whoever else. It's like they're not going to care, because they get so sneaky that they'll kind of plan around everything. So you have a restraining order, it might encourage her more, because she might like the adrenaline rush. Oh, if I stalk him now with a restraining order, it's going to be a lot more trouble. So it might make her encouraged, because some people are like that. They're thrill seekers. They're, you know, when they know there's something that they're not supposed to do, they might try to attempt to do it because they're getting like a fix. So I don't know if she's that kind of person, but she might be. So even having a restraining order, yeah, on the legal side of things, she's not allowed to come, right? She's not allowed to go near me. But what am I gonna do? Have like police, you know, guarding my property 24/7? You know, it's not like the day, you know, those days are over for me. And maybe when I was doing really well, maybe I could have hired security, like, you know, to stand outside my house 24/7. But $600 to $800 a month income, it's not happening for me. So that's what I got to do. Get away. Just, you know, and maybe they'll catch her. You know, I got footage this time. I don't know what happened before, but there was like 15 minutes of footage missing. But this time there isn't anything missing. So I don't know. I was like thinking maybe she jammed the thing up. Like, does she have like a little, you know, radio jammer that could jam video signals and radio signals? Or was it just a glitch? I know I have battery backup, so I'm not going to lose ring footage. But if the internet goes, that could be an issue. If the internet goes out, then I can lose footage. You know, and the internet can be unreliable at times. But if you guys haven't check out my latest video on Rolling With Me. You know, just going to some creepy haunted cemetery here in Florida with my best friend Omar, and just exploring places, and it's just creepy. What an experience. It's a new video on Rolling With Me, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. And here I am, you know, in Florida again, you know. Want to explore more places. It's kind of what I'm doing. I figured get away from the drama at the house, come down to Florida, explore some places. The situation came up and I ended up stopping here unexpectedly. This being here wasn't planned. Hanging out with this clown up there, this wasn't a planned event. This just happened to be a last minute, you know, thing that kind of ended up happening because of my Tesla not having enough charge, and the heat, it's like extreme heat causes extra, you know, battery to wear. And you know, I had to stop somewhere, and the cabin cooling feature that the Tesla has, it keeps the cabin under 100 degrees, because it can get 150 degrees inside a car when there's heat or more. That runs off the battery, obviously, and it just drains it out. So topping off a little charge, cooling off in here. I did go for a walk around here. It's just too freaking hot. I was sweating so bad. I'm like, ugh. and I got to get back in a Tesla and make it to the next supercharger. And then after I get to the supercharger, I can charge up more because it's going to take a while charging here, you know, slow charge. Then finish my road trip to Davenport. And then from that point, Kissimmee, hang out with this YouTube content streamer, and spend a day out there. I do have a friend who owns one of those cottages out on a resort, and that resort is over at Margaritaville. What a place, huh? I've been there before. And it's like this. I mentioned to my friends that I'm going here. It's like, oh, you got to stop by. There's an extra room. You can stay there. And then another friend, like, you can stop here and stay here. I'm like, everybody wants me to stay. I guess, you know, it's the weekend. So it's like, I don't want to impose on anybody. But, you know, if somebody's offering it to me, it's like, I can use the company. I live alone. It gets boring. It's like, I got to do something that keeps me entertained. You know, like be with people that I trust. So I figured, why not? So on my way to Davenport, my best friend Omar, you know, he's got a lot happening. He's very busy, and you know, I'm sure he'll keep you guys in a loop of what goes on every day or every week or every month. You know, I'm not one to speak on his behalf, so you know, you hear things from him, you'll hear things from him whenever he has a chance. You know, there was a time in my life that I was so busy, you know, with everything, and it was hard to get things done. It was hard to, you know, get things done socially with friends, but you know, it's the way it is. You know, I remember just I took on so many responsibilities. And you know, when you have a big heart, you know, you take on the world, you take on so many responsibilities. Maybe you take in a family to help them for a while and they're staying with you, or you know, you're caring for a lot of pets and animals. So you know, you take on those responsibilities, but it makes your heart feel good, right? And I've been that person where I've helped other people out, and I've had people stay with me, and you know, help them get on their feet again. And some people appreciated that, and then of course some people took advantage of it. And I'm not even getting into details of that, but this is something that happened decades ago. You know, where people have taken advantage of my kindness, and like, well, it's just not happening. You know, got to put my wall up. Got trust issues. Can't just let anybody into my life. So I only let people into my life who I trust. And it's only a handful of people, so it's not like I trust everybody. So here I am, and I know in the middle of next week we're going to be like, the storm's coming. It's going to get crazy. Hopefully it doesn't hit the coasts of, you know, Florida or near to Georgia area, because you know, we're all south. I mean, I'm much further south where I live now than I was previously last year. And when I first moved to Georgia, like, we were dealing with hurricanes and tornadoes, and it was just like, there was a tornado literally maybe a quarter mile behind us when I was moving stuff into Georgia. And I had a friend of mine, and she was helping me move stuff, and it was literally a quarter mile behind. You could see it, and the weather was like announcing, like, oh my gosh, you know, what's going to happen? But made it, and then now, of course, hurricane season's back again. So it's very unpredictable time that we're dealing with. So we got to be careful. You know, anytime between, right now it's August, right? So, you know, August, September, October, November, you got to stay on alert. You got to be cautious, because anything can brew up, especially now with this crazy weather. We have extreme heat waves going on. The water temperatures are much higher. There's going to be a lot more of cyclonic activity, a lot more tropical depressions and storms building up into hurricanes, and you name it. Things are just going to precipitate, higher winds, you know. There's just a lot happening. So you got to be careful and be prepared. You know, don't let it get you by surprise. You guys probably remember I was doing some reactions with my best friend Omar here. Like, we would watch some creepy videos, right? And then react to the videos. And actually, my recent video, I was sitting in this very same room, and we were reacting to some kind of creepy creature in a tunnel, you know, and it kind of looks just like this creature that was in the tunnel at my, you know, what is it, in my attic in my house. Like, it was like I saw these, it was like eyes. There was like a bright greenish yellow. It was like, to me, it was like LED lights, and then they disappeared, they vanished. But it kind of reminded me of that creature that Omar and I were reacting to in one of those videos, which is in my my latest video on Rolling With Me, so you can check that out and see that. But it was crazy though. Like I went in the attic because I heard something up there, and I'm like, well, who's in my attic? The attic door is shut, so how can somebody be in the attic and shut the attic unless there's two people involved, and one person shuts the attic and they're on the lookout and they're outside somewhere, and so it's less obvious that someone will be in the attic if it's shut. But then if it's ghosts, they don't need to go through the attic. You know what I mean? If you got a stalker problem, they're going to go in your attic, right? And they're going to have two people in order to leave the door shut. But I don't know what it was. It's still a mystery, but the green lights kind of reminded me of those two eyes looking right at me. And I'm thinking, oh man, is this what I'm dealing with in my attic? I can't even. This is crazy. You know, you guys have seen me in here before, like doing overnight challenges and dealing with creepy beyond creepy things that are just coming out of nowhere. And they usually have smiles on their faces, usually a creepy grin, you know, something that just, it looks like it's thinking something very demonic. It's like it's plotting evil against you, and it's staring at you with that smile, you know. I'm sorry, but I got clowns looking at me from every angle. And I'm just not panning the camera around. I'm not walking around in here, you know. I'm just gonna stay right in this little area here. That's it. Not walking around. Not that person. I am just gonna stay right here. And this is where you're gonna see me the whole time, surrounded by the majority of the creepiness, you know. That's just the way it's gonna be. I got the guy right there staring at me. I'll stand up. I'll walk near this creepy clown guy right here. What looks different about me, other than just being surrounded by creepiness? Because I escaped creepiness. What it is I exchanged one kind of creepy situation to a whole other kind of creepy situation, and I'd rather be in this particular creepy situation for the time being until I can get enough charge of my Tesla to road trip it all the way to Davenport. You know, I take the scenic ways. That's how I do it. I love taking the scenic ways, get away from all the madness, get away from the hustle, all the craziness. When you get a certain age, it's like you might not like the gray in your beard, or it might not be even, or you know, it just might go in places that make it look off, and you're like, oh, you know what, let me even it up. So some people will take hair color and define the gray. Maybe they'll have a specific area of gray that they like, so they'll dye certain parts of the beard and leave the rest gray. Or you know, some people just go all the way, take all the gray out. It's a preference, right? Everybody has their own preference. Some people like a little gray, some people like to have it all out. Age is just a number when it comes to your health and how you feel, but it doesn't apply to everything in life. But when it comes to your health and how you feel, age is a number. But then of course, age is not just a number when it comes to signing legal documents and the drinking age and just all the things, you know, contractual agreements. Then we're talking a whole different situation. But when you're in your 50s like me, you know, and you're looking at it on a health standpoint, like, yeah, you're just as old as you feel. So, you know, if you feel 25, then hey, you're 25. You know what I mean? So I feel young, I'm alive, and I am dealing with a lot of health anxieties. And it doesn't mean that I'm not able to do things. It's a mental thing that I'm struggling with. It's because I have certain things going on with my body, but it doesn't cause me to slow down. It doesn't limit my physical activities. It doesn't drain me out. It doesn't, you know, I have the same energy. It just affects me emotionally because I worry. You know, you have swollen inguinal lymph nodes for 6 months and they don't go away. And then you discover a new lymph node swelling in the opposite side, and you're like, why is this happening and why is it not going away? And it creates this anxiety. And you get ultrasounds done, and then you get more testing done. Then you get referred to get a biopsy done. And then the surgeon says, well, the biopsy would be very intrusive, and they could do the needle biopsy, but then it's not as accurate, and they don't want to be overly intrusive because they said that even though the inguinal lymph nodes are swollen, they're not as concerning because of the size and the shape, and but in a way there's some issues because they are slightly kind of, to me, feel like they're partially fixed, and that's not a good thing, right? When you have fixed swollen lymph nodes. And so he said, the surgeon said, well, he's just gonna refer me to get another ultrasound done to see if the size of the lymph nodes have increased or not, and if there's any evidence of them getting any bigger. Then from that point, he said that he can do a PET scan, which would have to be authorized by my insurance, because there's no way I'd have $3,000 or $5,000, whatever it may be. I mean, you might get it as cheap as like $1,800 to get a PET scan. It depends on where you go, right? I don't have that kind of extra money. I need to live off what I have left to survive. So that's just another thing that kind of stresses me out. So I still have an appointment for another ultrasound. I just had, they call it a scrotal ultrasound done. I'm waiting on results Monday. So I'm kind of like in limbo right now. It's like just waiting on test results gives you anxiety. And then I have another ultrasound tomorrow. I'm busy. And then my gastroenterologist visits have been more often than ever. And when I went to the urologist recently, they referred me to a hematologist. So now I got, I guess, so I mean, a lot of blood work done. I mean, I feel like there's going to be a room full of vampires just waiting for me. So, one thing leads to another. So yes, you got to be yourself, advocate. You got to care about your health and others, right? I know some people ignore things when things happen with your body because, just ignore it, it'll go away. But, that's true when it comes to your teeth. You ignore your teeth, they go away. But when it comes to your health, you start ignoring things that that are happening to you. The problem might not go away. It might get worse. And so if you don't address it, because you're either in denial or you're hoping that it's going to go away if you ignore it, it could progress to something worse. So it's like, I want to stay on top of these things. And I know some people fear the answer, like, oh, I'm scared to know. I don't want to know, because what if the truth is going to put me down a dark road? And now I feel like I have an expiration